Hello everyone, welcome you all in my YouTube channel. This is the second video of the series AZ-900 exam, where we are going to discuss about the real-time exam questions of AZ-900 exam. Coming to the question number 16, this is the general statement, and from here the question begins that you are planning to migrate a company to Azure. Each of the company's numerous divisions will have an administrator in place to manage the Azure resources used by their respective divisions. You want to make sure that Azure deployment you employ allow for Azure to be segmented for the divisions while keeping administrative efforts to the minimum. Solution provided is you plan to make use of several Azure Active Directories, AD directories. Does this solution meet the goal? So the question is that we are planning our company to migrate to Azure, and each company's numerous divisions will have different kinds of administrators, and they have to manage their own resources. Now we have to keep these administrative efforts to minimum, and the solution that is provided is that we are planning to provide several Azure Active Directories because we cannot make the administrative efforts to minimum by using several Azure Active Directories, so it should be no. Coming to the question number 70, this is the general statement and question begins from here that your company's Active Directory forest includes thousands of user accounts. You have been informed that all network resources will be migrated to Azure. Thereafter, the on-premises data centers will be retired. You are required to employ a strategy that reduces an effect on the users once planned migration has been completed. And the solution provided is you plan to sync all the Active Directory user accounts to Azure Active Directory AD. Does this solution meet the goal? And correct answer should be yes, because if we are syncing all the Active Directory user accounts to Azure Active Directory AD, this will automatically convert all the necessary information from Active Directory user accounts to Azure Active Directory, and it will help in achieving the goal. So it should be yes. Coming to the question number 18, your company has an Azure Active Directory environment. Users occasionally connect to Azure Active Directory via internet. You have been tasked with making sure that users who connect to Azure Active Directory via internet from an unidentified IP address are automatically encouraged to privilege to change the passwords. And the solution provided is you configure the use of Azure Active Directory Privileged Identity Management. Does this solution meet the goal? So the answer should be no, because in order to provide privileged identity management, it is not necessary that everything will be okay. So it should be no. The same question, but the solution is different. You configure the use of Azure Active Directory Identity Protection. Does this solution meet the goal? And correct answer should be yes, because we are providing identity protection by using Azure AD. So it should meet the goal. Coming to the question number 20, this is the general statement, and from here the question begins. Your company has an Azure subscription that contains the following unused resources: 20 user accounts in Azure Active Directory, 5 groups in Azure Active Directory, 10 public IP addresses, and 10 network interfaces. You need to reduce the Azure cost for the company. And the solution provided is you remove unused public IP addresses. Does this solution meet the goal? And correct option should be yes, because if we remove public IP addresses, that will surely remove or reduce the cost of Azure, because only the public IP addresses are here which are responsible for the costing policies of the Azure. No one is responsible other than public IP. So it should be yes. Coming to the 21 question. Now the solution provided is use, remove, and use network interfaces. Does this solution meet the goal? And answer should be no, because only public IP addresses are responsible for hosting, not any other medium. Coming to the next question, number 22. You remove unused user accounts. Does this solution meet the goal? And answer should also be no, because only public addresses are responsible for custody. Coming to the question number 23. You remove unused groups. Does this meet the goal? And answer should also be no. Now coming to the question number 24. This is the general statement, and from here question begins. You are required to deploy an artificial intelligence solution in Azure. You want to make sure that you are able to build, test, and deploy predictive analytics for the solution. And the solution provided is you should make use of Azure Cosmos DB. Does the solution meet the goal? And answer should be no, because Azure Cosmos DB does not work collaborating with artificial intelligence for build, test, and deploy predictive analytics. So it should be no. Coming to the question number 25, and same question, but the solution is different. You should make use of Azure Virtual Machine Learning Studio. Does this solution meet the goal? And answer should be yes, because Azure Machine Learning Studio will collaborate with artificial intelligence for building, testing, and deploying the predictive analytics. So it should be yes. Coming to the question number 26, that your company's infrastructure includes a number of business units that each need a large number of various Azure resources for everyday operation. The resources required by each business unit are identical. You are required to sanction a strategy to create Azure resources automatically. And the solution provided is you recommend that Azure API management services be included in this strategy. Does this solution meet the goal? Since all the business units are identical and we are required to sanction a different strategy for creating Azure resources automatically. But API management services will not be a part of this kind of service providing, so it should be no. Coming to the question number 27, your company's infrastructure includes the number of business units that each needs a large number of various Azure resources for everyday operations. The resources required by each business units are identical. You are required to sanction a strategy to create Azure resources automatically. And the solution provided is you recommend that management group will be included in this strategy. Does this solution meet the goal? So its answer should also be no, because management groups are not responsible for creating Azure resources automatically. So this should be no. Coming to the question number 28, the question is same but the solution is different, that you recommend that Azure Resource Manager templates be included in this strategy. And correct option should be yes, because Azure Resource Manager templates have the ability to create Azure resources automatically. Coming to the question number 29, that you are tasked with deploying the critical LOB application which will be installed on a virtual machine to Azure. You are informed that the application deployment strategy should allow for a guaranteed availability of 99.99%. You need to make sure that strategy requires as little virtual machines and availability zones as possible. And the solution provided is you include two virtual machines and one availability zone in your strategy. Does this solution meet the goal? And answer should be no, because in order to provide a guaranteed availability of 99.99%, we should use as minimum as two Azure virtual machines and two availability zones, not one availability zone. So it should be no. Coming to the question number 30. Question is same, but the solution is different. The solution provided is you include two virtual machines and two availability zones in your strategy. Does the solution meet the goal? And answer should be yes, because for providing a guaranteed availability of 99.9%, the minimum requirement should be two virtual machines and two availability.